Welcome everyone to Sports for Dummies. This is actually take 2 of this. We actually did about an hour of this topic and realised my mic wasn't on. So, this is take 2 of this.
Which is quite ironic because the last one we said at the very end, bear with us, we're learning about all these things to do with the podcast, and
we couldn't
we couldn't get the mic on.
Couldn't even get the simple mic on. So
my name is Jeff.
We're not going to call this a special because every seems like every second episode we do is a special. But it is kind of a special because it's going to be called Joshy Squashes. We're talking about a sport that I really don't know about, don't care about, actually find it quite boring. And Josh is going to speak the majority of the time, and it is Formula One. So I'm just going to leave it to you. And Josh, you want to ask some questions? I will try to
stay
with you, but I might fall asleep.
Yeah. So for anyone out there who doesn't know Formula One, obviously it's car racing. You've got some of the fastest motor vehicles in the world going round and round in circles, and the most extreme. We're actually on. Okay, that's always promising.
We're good.
Which is, look, I couldn't imagine being one of the drivers. It'd be most adrenaline. You're putting your life on the line pretty much. Going around corners at 200 clicks. I honestly couldn't even envision that, and the amount of shit they take on, as a driver, to be in there and to be at that speed, you're risking your life. So credit to them. Formula One, you basically have 20 drivers, you have 10 teams. Now, the one thing that quietly annoys me about this sport, 2021. Okay, actually a better one before I go there. Johnny, have you watched a boxing fight and you already know who the winner of the fight is?
This is a bad example. Boxing's rigged.
No, but do you already know who the winner is? Like, did you know before you watched the fight? No.
Yeah, you just know it's rigged. It's dodgy as. Have you not said the boxing is the worst example?
What have you watched? Okay, what if you watched? Prime example. Yeah, it's a really bad one. I was trying to think of a one-on-one sport. Okay, watch the NBA. Playoffs, right? You get to the finals. Do you already know who's won? No.
Yes. No, you don't.
You don't. So my point is, it's like getting to the grand final of the AFL and you already know who's won. You don't. Sometimes you can get, you can guess who's going to win. But what my point is with Formula One.
What do you mean by that?
So Formula One, right? You win points every time you win a race. So you get, I think it's 25, and then it's like 21, and then it's 18. It goes down from first through till 10, and everyone outside the top 10 doesn't get any. They don't score shit, so you don't get any points. Now, my problem is the 2021 season came down to the last race and the last lap for the championship to determine the driver. It was one of the best. Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, one of the best. It was rigged. It was rigged. It was absolutely rigged. Lewis Hamilton should have won that, and he didn't. My problem is now 2022 comes around. Red Bull, Max Verstappen wins, and he wins easily. Like, he dominates the whole field. So what happens, and prime example, this one is already won, and I think we're up to race 18. So we're sitting there. Why in God's name would I watch the Formula One knowing who's won the championship?
So it's okay.
We've already determined the champion.
I'm gonna jump in. So how many races are there?
23.
Okay, so there's 23 races. 23
might change.
Michael Jordan, it's a good number. So you're saying because it's done by points.
They've already won all the points.
He can't lose.
No,
he finishes last.
He could finish
every race.
So he could retire his car, which means that basically he wouldn't even need to race.
Could he retire the car?
He could not even race.
Why do they race then?
Just because it's just like I had a bonus, and I guess going for an historic championship.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. So it's already first place is done.
Yep, first place already done.
What about second and third? Is there extra money to be won? Yeah,
so each team, obviously, the more points they get more money. So the more that you creep up in the Constructors' Championship, which is the team. So say you have the 2 drivers of each team, and whichever one. So the Red Bull's already won the championship for the best driver, championship for the Constructors, which is the teams won for both the drivers have won the championship. So you're just watching second and third and fourth and fifth fight it out.
So it's like when you're watching the Olympics and the gold medal's done and you're watching third versus fourth.
This is the boringest.
Yeah, okay. So I guess the question then, as someone who doesn't know how it works, is how do you fix that? Do you shorten do you make it not 23 races?
It's a very good point.
But you can still have someone if you're doing the amount of races on points. It doesn't matter how many races there are. Someone can dominate so quickly that the rest is.
Well, that's the problem. Each team has the ability to have a salary. I think that the salary cap that they kind of work to. They can't go over it with the cars. So they used to be able to just spend an endless amount of money. And you could just throw as much at it and make it, the most aerodynamic so that it could go as fast as it can, and all these corner better and all these different things, and put different things onto the vehicle. Nowadays, it's kind of like there is a bit of, they've kind of tried to moderate it. But I think the hard thing is right now is we're coming up to race 19, I think it is, and it's like you don't even want to watch it.
And there's no point. And that's my question.
Daniel Ricciardo,
regardless of how this works, how do you make it where there's a finish? So this you see it in the Olympics.
Well, the squashers have not come to this point where I figured out the answer, but. I'm pissed off.
I think that is a question that you need to actually figure out, and we can do a squashes part 2 on this.
Yeah,
but it is an interesting one because I didn't know that. I don't know the sport. I actually, as I said, didn't find it quite boring. That has actually sparked my interest. How, where you've still got, 18 out of 23, let's go to 18 out of 24, that's 75% of the race is done. You've still got a quarter of the competition to go, and your winner is done. The only thing that I can see that's comparable, and it's, is in gold medals where, you have 1 and 2 play for the gold medal and then 3 and 4 play for bronze. Who cares?
What's annoying, though, is it's not like they take Max Verstappen, the winner, out. They leave him in, so it's not like it becomes a level playing field. They just keep winning. They get the ultimate points. It's like...
So you see you see it in basketball games when... So this is where AFL is very different. Even if a side's 10 goals down, the game doesn't stop until it stops. The team keeps playing. Basketball do it differently. Once they're up by 20 points, they sort of take everyone off the bench and they rest them, and they play their seconds team.
Yeah.
Does that race? Do they play their seconds team? Or does that?
No, they keep racing.
Or maybe that. Well, then maybe. But do they go? Maybe do they go for the record, like you said?
Yeah, but it's. I guess another thing comes into play.
It's something about pride.
If you put a second,
but there's a lot of risk in that. What if their car goes off?
That's what I mean.
You're risking.
You put a second team in to drive it.
The basketball do it and they rest players because they don't want to get injured. You're racing a bloody high-powered, fast vehicle.
$3 million vehicle that if you crash it, yeah.
I think what I'd like to get you to address. Not today, because you've sparked my interest now.
That's good.
I was 100% just going to go, if I had a paper, I'd be reading it. I actually would like to see what your alternative is.
I'll come up
and I want to hear it next week.
All right.
What your
solution is.
And then I want to hear you go again.
Yeah.
Because I think you've made the main point.
Well, yeah. So my problem with the Formula One at the moment is just you don't have the interest in watching. It's boring.
But you love the sport.
I love the sport.
You love the sport. You like the competition. You like the mentality of it. What the problem is that you still got a quarter of the race to go. You got a quarter of the year to go, and
you've already determined.
And we're already done. And who cares about second or third?
No.
If you ain't first, you're last. If you've never watched. Talladega Nights. There you go. If you ain't first to last, well, Bobby, there's fourth, there's fifth, there's even sixth.
You don't want to watch it, but you don't want to watch it.
No one cares.
That's what I mean. For the viewership, everyone's like, you know what, Max Verstappen's already won it. We all get it. You'd go to the Formula One for just to go and get absolutely.
Well, but then there's your answer why the number one keeps going, because there's viewership. They're probably contracted to. There must be something in the contract that they have to do it.
Yep.
But from a competitive standpoint, people like to watch competing. It's the only reason we watch sport.
That's why
it's why the All-Star game in the NBA has become stale, because no one competes. No one cares. Oh, we just watch it for the schedule. People only watch sport.
That is the perfect...
Sport started. So let's go back to the origin of sport. Now I'm hyped up. This was a Joshy Squashers one. Why did sport start? What was the origin sport?
Competition.
No, it was gladiators killing each other.
Yes.
Why? because they kept the poor people distracted and watched people die to take away from their own thing. Now, as society has become more and more civilized, we now have athletes doing that. What people don't like to... We only watch it because it's competitive, though. This is why, it's good to watch a spectacle. No, it's not good to watch an NBA All-Star game. No one cares how skilled you are. We want to know who the best of the best is.
You know what's funny? Who watches the All-Star game? I would say far more people watch the NBA dunk contest because there's genuine competition.
Well, there's a winner. There's a legitimate winner.
That's what I'm... But
and there's an argument against that, though, because you don't even have the best in that. You have G-Leaguers in it now. But let's keep on point, because I know where you were going with that.
So this is my point.
I love
how you brought that up.
I loved your point. How do you fix a sport that's highly competitive, highly... You
can't go and kill people off, Johnny.
Well, we're not going to that, but that is the only reason people watch sport is to be distracted and to watch competition. Because if you watch...
It's stale.
Why do people not watch preseason games?
Because there's
as much. Because no one cares.
No, and you're not winning anything.
No one cares. This is the thing, and this is where you see sports, people just going to watch. No. They want to see you at their best. They want to see the best of the best. The only reason we're doing a talk show about that is for competition. Yep. If it's not there, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Well, now, I think that's a good way to finish. I'm going to finish off right now. I had to sit through a Formula 1 topic, but he actually raised a good point. I want to see what your solution is next week on how to fix and make the Formula 1 more competitive. I'm John Merchant. This is Josh Merchant. Leave your comments in the comment section and like and describe. I'm actually very fired up because that was a stupid, boring sport, but he makes a good point and I'm fired up.
It's Rooney Rants.
Have a good night.
See you guys.